Good day, good morning, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Craig Whitney. I'm the founder of Next Level Coaching and your host for the Legacy Forge podcast. Today's episode, we will focus on the environment part of our Arete model. First up, like and subscribe if you're getting some value from these podcasts. I'm on YouTube for the video, Spotify and Apple Podcasts for the audio. If you get some value, and tell a mate, share this broad and wide. Yeah. Alrighty. So today's episode. So previous episodes, we've been on the descent of the Arete Method, which is, for those who are just joining, Arete is Greek for the excellence of just being. We live in a world that's consistently overwhelmed with more doing here. And from our doing, we create a have that we don't appreciate in our life, and it affects our state of being. Or as my mentor, Jack Cohen, continuously rips into me, Craig, shift from the how-to the why not. We don't need another how-to, another SOP, another YouTube video, another seminar, another course, another coach, another strategy. You can jump on YouTube for any of that. Anyone can learn a how-to, right? That's the easy part, the skill. The why not, it's taking that how-to and stepping into that new identity. And this is what the Arete Method was defined and created through my walk of life for the last 10 years now, my mental health, and coming into, having my awakening from living a life in ego and misalignment to meeting different coaches and angels along the way of my rehabilitation. And this model was originally created by Robert Dilts from the logical levels of therapy out of his NLP. Now I'm a certified master trainer of NLP by Robert Dilts. And out of all that curriculum, this model stood out to me. So I've gone deep on this for a reason, rather than follow the trainer of NLP and go do more certifications and start certifying people for NLP practitioner or anything like that. My jam is this. This is me. This is my declaration. This is my line in the sand. And I can teach values. I can teach parts. I can teach Disney strategies. I can teach any other of that NLP stuff, but it's not my jam. This is my jam because along with Robert, I met JT Foxx, who's my other coach, who perfected the model, who rebranded me from some fluffy life coach who cared about people's feelings and their inner child and got involved in people's stories, and who just gave too much of my energy away to people like an empath. And he rebranded me into more of a life strategist with surgical precision. So I can look at someone and observe them, their behaviors, what they say, their eye patterns, their body language, their micro movements, and I can coach them down on this model. And I can surgically get to the point very quickly within 20 minutes of where someone is, what's their future state, and their challenges. And we rip through their challenges to put them on their path of their future state. It's not a therapy session. Like, I'm not interested in giving people a cuddle and, everything's okay, when in reality your business is just about gone and your marriage is out the door, right? Some of the franchisees and some of the men I've worked with are going through some of the most atrocious times of their life, and a cuddle's not needed. We're men. We come from a stoic culture. We have lost that edge of initiation and ancient rites of passage that gave us men the edge. We have become so soft, right? Because our environment's changed. Go back to the ancient Romans and their initiations. You were initiated in a gladiatory environment, arena where you fought for your life. The Spartans, You were taken away at the age of 12 and put through initiatory practices right through your teenage life. Encouraged to fight, to steal, sometimes to kill your own brother, that kind of stuff. We've lost that edge. Yeah. You get sent out into the wild at the age of 19 to come back with the head of a lion or a tiger, or you don't come back at all. That was the initiation in the Spartan culture. Very strict. And then there's other cultures of initiation. I'm a very big fan and I'm a supporter of modern day rites of passage for men. Thorough, initiatory rites of passages where the environment is suited to test men, to challenge men beyond themselves, to go inwards. We're not talking a Tony Robbins rah-rah or some spiritual retreat where you sit and meditate and pray to the yogi gods, or you're going to some happy clapper church and you're praying. No. We're men, we're physically orientated to be challenged. We need to feel challenge. This is why physical initiation process style works. Paramilitary exercises, your Iron Man, Spartan warrior, that kind of stuff. Initiatory stuff that forces a challenge, forces the body to be challenged and experiential, yeah? Where you're put through the process of something, where you might have to sacrifice something, yeah, to get to that next level. Generally, it's the death of the boy ego to create the next level adult, yeah? So today's episode's about environment. We'll get to that now. I've ranted on a bit. We now arrive at the foundational that nearly every expert underestimates. Yeah. This is not just where we live, but what you're exposed to and what surrounds you and what repeatedly influences you. The Greeks had language for this: topos, place, position, and the physical and situational ground you stand on, and oikos, household ecosystem, the network of relationships, culture, and conditions you live within. Together, they define the field that shapes your behavior. Because no matter how strong you think you are always adapting to your environment. And this is where it gets miscued, yeah? You go to a seminar and they change the environment, turn the music up, get you dancing, turn to your best friend or turn to the bloke next to you, give him a high five, or turn to the bloke next to you, oh, you're awesome, that kind of stuff, that hyped up. Now, I will do a teaching on hype because I have a whole different belief system around hype, and it's neither what the experts portray and it's not what those who are against it have taken on as belief. It's what I've observed of what the genuine experts define it as, and I will do an episode on that, yeah? But it's certainly not turning the music up temporal and getting the temporal change and then landing somewhere here and then going home 2 days later and then crashing. Certainly not that. This is why we have the environment last. Yeah, the story of is there someone out there who's been a smoker in their life? Yeah, I was for 16 and a half years and I had 4 attempts at quitting. And all 3 attempts I changed my environment. And yet I still fell. Why? Because I didn't map out this model. I changed my environment. I adopted new behaviors. I trained new capabilities. I kind of believed new values and I adopted angry beliefs about the anti-smoker, right? I hung around a new identity of non-smokers. Yet, externally I was a non-smoker, but internally, when no one was watching, I was still a smoker. And for that, my mission of being smoke-free come to an end pretty quick, because I had the belief that I'd quit smoking. It was never reprogrammed to me long term that what were the possibilities like to become a non-smoker, yeah? So it wasn't until my fourth attempt that I had a very good hypnotherapist, NLP trainer, who, when I look back at my recording, because I found my recording the other day, we actually walked Arete model down. I picked it up in his language, and our 3.5 hour session, hypnotherapy session, as he coded all this on the way down. And the last thing we did was we changed my environment by taking my cigarettes off me. Yeah. So let's tell a story about the olive grove, yeah? Olive trees were everything, same species, different soil. One tree grows strong, rooted, producing fruit for generations. Another grows twisted, brittle, barely surviving. The difference wasn't the seed, it was the environment. Topos is the soil, Oikos is the ecosystem around it, and the tree has no choice though to adapt. Environment doesn't shout or demand, it conditions. The conversations you hear daily, the standards you tolerate, yeah, the people you surround yourself with, and the energy of the spaces you work in. All of it quietly shapes your baseline. Let that land. And here's what you won't admit, or the unspoken. You can't outperform your environment forever. You can fight it for a while, become a non-smoker as I did for a while, temporal. You can push against it temporarily, but eventually you either change your environment or it changes you. Humans adapt fast. What once felt unacceptable becomes normal. Low standards become culture. Excuses become language. Mediocrity becomes invisible. That's oikos at work. Oikos for those who are taking notes. You don't question it anymore, you absorb it. The brutal reality. You say you want growth. You talk it, yeah? You talk, you flap the gums. Are you surrounded by a tribe who challenge you? Or people who validate your current level? Ooh, let that land. You talk, you want discipline. Does your environment support focus or distract you constantly? When I had my surgery to lose weight, I had to change my environment because my body, I couldn't eat as much food as what I used to. My stomach still is the size of an egg, yeah? So I had to change. I had forced change. So I had to have my environment support me. So I had to limit my food intake, but high yield concentration, yeah? That's an example of leveraging my environment. You talk, you want leadership. Are you in rooms where leadership is required or rooms where it's optional? Sitting on Zoom calls and clapping to the speakers while they blow up their egos is not leadership. That's worship. That's guruship. Yeah? To me, a leader is leading from the front and leading from the back. Yeah? Because environment either demands your next level or permits your current one. Or Topos and Oikos, it's the field you operate within. Yeah? And let's see how it fits with the rest. Praxis and ethos is what you repeatedly do. Techne and dynamis is what you're able to execute. Dosha and axioma, what you think is true and important. Virtus, who you become. Dominion, how you influence others. Legacy, what endures? Ooh. Environment is the outer layer. It affects everything underneath it. If your environment is misaligned, your behaviors drift, your capabilities weaken, your beliefs distort, and your identity fractures. Let's make this visceral for a moment, yeah? Write these down. If you got pen and paper, what environments are you tolerating that are keeping you small? Who in your oikos reinforces your current identity instead of your next level? What spaces drain your energy instead of sharpening it? And if someone stepped into your world for 24 hours, what would they say your environment is producing? Ooh, and a bit harsh. Topos sets the stage, Oikos sets the standard. Environment doesn't ask who you want to be. It shows you who you're becoming, that mirror, right? Let's bring it home. If nothing about your environment changed, would your next level still be possible? Or are you expecting growth from a field that was never designed for you to produce it? Arete descent, the last level. You don't just upgrade yourself, you upgrade the world you operate in. Or that world will quietly decide your ceiling for you. Yeah? Let that land for a minute. What's alive? What do you notice? What'd you learn? And what you're willing to share? I'd love some comments. Because this is I'd say the final layer of this. Except there's one more, and I will get to that in the next episode. All right? Love to hear in the comments, what'd you learn? What did you notice? What'd you learn? And what do you want to share for that? All righty, that concludes today's episode on behaviors. Like, subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube for the video. Tag and share with a mate. Let's get this out to the world. Yeah? This changes lives. Yeah? This is not making people feel good. This is changing people. Transformational change. Alrighty, guys. Until the next episode, Arete, the excellence in just being. Bye for now. Speak soon.